What if I told you? There was a time when everyone on Earth spoke the same language. No confusion, no misunderstandings. Everyone understood each other perfectly. But then, in one single moment, everything changed. Languages were divided. People were scattered across the world. Why did this happen? And what were humans trying to do that made God step in? Stay with me, because this story is not just history. It explains why the world is the way it is today. After the great flood in the days of Noah, the earth slowly began to fill with people again. Families grew, communities formed, and something important to know is this. At that time, everyone spoke one language. This made life easier. People could work together, plan together, and build together. So instead of spreading out across the earth, they all stayed together in one place, a land called Shinar. And this is where everything began. The big idea. One day, the people had an idea. Not just any idea, a dangerous one. They said to each other, let's build a city and a tower that reaches the heavens. Think about that for a second. They didn't just want to build something big. They wanted to build something that reached God's level. And why? The Bible gives us the answer. They said, let us make a name for ourselves, so we will not be scattered across the earth. They wanted power. They wanted control. They wanted to be remembered forever. This wasn't just about building. It was about pride. So they got to work. They didn't use normal stones. They made bricks and used a sticky material called tar. Day by day, the tower grew taller, higher and higher and higher. People were united, focused, driven. Thousands of people working together, lifting bricks, climbing higher. This was one of the first great human projects. But something was wrong. Very wrong. They were building not to honor God, but to replace him. Nothing escapes God. He saw the city. He saw the tower. And more importantly, he saw their hearts. God said something powerful. If they can do this together as one people, nothing they plan will be impossible for them. If people stayed united in pride, they would move further and further away from him. So God decided to act. In one instant, God changed something very simple, but very powerful: the language. Suddenly, people could no longer understand each other. One person would say, bring me bricks. But the other person heard something completely different. Confusion spread everywhere. Workers argued. Plans failed. Nothing made sense anymore. The unity they once had was gone. Just like that. Without understanding each other, they couldn't continue building. The tower stopped. The city was left unfinished. And just as they feared, they were scattered across the earth. Different groups moved in different directions. And over time, these groups became different nations, different cultures, different languages. This is how different languages today began to form. The place was called Babel, because that is where God confused the language of the whole world. The word Babel is connected to confusion. And today, when people speak in a way that makes no sense, we sometimes say it sounds like babbling. That idea comes from this story. This story is not just about a tower. It's about something deeper. It's about human pride. The people wanted to reach heaven on their own. They didn't want God's way. They wanted their own way. And that led to confusion. Here's the truth. When people try to live without God, things fall apart. But when people follow God, there is direction, purpose, and peace. So next time you hear different languages, or see how divided the world can be, remember this story. The Tower of Babel wasn't just about a building. It was the moment the world changed forever. And it reminds us of something important. No matter how high we try to climb on our own, we will always need God. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.